America's favorite couch and sofa expert, JD Vance, tried to make a casual show of force today in Union Station in a typical Team Trump media stunt designed to persuade the base that fascism is working out really well. And is it going to be a surprise to anyone that Vance was humiliated in the process? Well, probably not. But what's remarkable about today's showing is that they actually said the quiet part out loud, that this is all about race. I'm going to show a series of clips, and each one is funnier than the next. So stick around until the end and watch another member of Team Trump try to bail out Vance, because that's where the quiet part gets said out loud. Now, the first clip I'm going to show is anything but funny. One of the reasons for this media stunt was to distract attention to what went on this morning in D.C. A military convoy T-boned a passenger car on the city streets of D.C., which Maryland Governor Wes Moore practically predicted would happen. Fortunately, there were no fatalities here, but the driver had to be extracted with the jaws of life to get freed from their vehicle. And why did this happen? Because as Governor Moore makes clear, the National Guard is not trained for policing. They are not trained to drive military convoys through unoccupied urban centers. The accident and near tragedy put on full display what a thoroughly unsafe and unnecessary show of force the Trump administration is imposing on our country. So off to Union Station goes JD Vance, with pull-up failure Pete Hegseth in tow. Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, who is implementing a warrior culture but can't even do one pull-up, is theoretically inspecting the operation with Vance. They were not welcome, to say the least. Watch the reception they get inside.
Right there. Oh, look! It's couch. You gonna put the couch, buddy?
Right here. Do not go past this.
This is Vice President. Go the couch, JD Vance. Go the couch.
But hey, you really have to hand it to Vance. He's been on tough missions before, and he gets booed wherever he goes. England, Scotland, Vermont, Ohio, in short, wherever he goes. So Vance went to a quieter location within the station to accomplish his mission. Watch as he tries to convince the Heartland to come to D.C. even though there's a military takeover.
And the last thing I'll say is to the American people, D.C. is already safer than it was 9 days ago, but we're going to make it safer still to come. This is your city. You should feel free to come and visit here, have a meal, see all these incredible monuments, and actually enjoy yourself, and that's what we're trying to make happen. And I think that if we set a standard in Washington, D.C., that political willpower can bring some common sense, law and order back to these communities.
What's that you say, JD? I can't quite hear you from all the people trying to defend democracy shouting you down. Yeah, that played well in the Heartland. Great pitch, JD. I'm sure that it really convinced them DC is safe. You have to love the relentless crowd haunting him wherever he goes. And it's clear that another major reason for this photo op is that the military occupation is indeed harming tourism. DC restaurants are vehemently complaining about the dramatic loss of business. JD's appearance didn't help, but you have to love his message. JD came as close to the line as you can get without explicitly saying, come to DC. You don't have to worry about seeing black people. We put out the National Guard to keep them away from you. But that leads us to the best part. JD did such a horrible job that he had to be bailed out by the lizard who learned how to walk upright, Stephen Miller, who does say the quiet part out loud. Watch this.
All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers.
So, yes, you heard that right. The military occupation of D.C. is because A, black people can't get their act together, and B, the Trump administration needs to protect black people from black people. And the only way to do that is with the National Guard. And really, the only thing funnier than the overtly racist Miller talking about black people is the totally bald Miller accusing protesters of being hippies, who, as we all know, were famous for having shoulder-length hair. So Stephen Miller is scared of black people, jealous of white people, and hates brown people. What about Asians, Stephen? Where do they line up in our pantheon of white Christian nationalism? But as funny as all of this is, the situation itself needs to be taken very seriously. LA was a test balloon, and it's directly responsible for DC being phase one. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu made clear yesterday that she is not going to roll over.
Stop attacking our cities to hide your administration's failures.
And the governor of Maryland said the same thing. Gavin Newsom has Trump in court, but it's time for our famous centrist Democrats to start mobilizing as well, because the last thing this is about is crime. It's about imposing an authoritarian state. And if you can't oppose that, you're not a Democrat. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.